Alright guys, Director's Cut for Ghost of Tsushima is launching in just a few more hours, if it didn't already in some of the regions. Yeah, it definitely looks really awesome. Some of the reviews already gave it a really high mark, and it definitely seems like a continuation to exactly what you wanted from this game. But in the meantime, we also have a brand new update called Update 2.04 that introduces for the first time ever the ability to replay almost any camp in the game, as well as every single duel that you have ever done. And that is only one of the features. There's many more and a few more secrets on top, so let's jump right into it with all of the info. Now, coming right up, if you're on the PlayStation 5 right now, or if you didn't get a chance to transfer your saves to the Director's Cut on the PlayStation 5, you should probably go ahead and do so right now, and you should be able to see a new setting called Transfer PS4 Console Saves. Now, unfortunately, just like in the case of other games, like for example Final Fantasy VII Integrate, you will need to first have that PS4 version on your console as well. Enter the menu, transfer the PS4 console save, and then enter the PS5 version of the game, import that over there, and then you can go ahead and safely delete the PS4 version of the game. Now, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to have any cloud saves unless you have a PS Plus membership, but you can totally do it locally, so just keep that in mind. But let's go over the actual changes in this update 2.04, because yeah, some of them we've been asking for them for almost a year at this point, and as soon as you log in the new update and enter any map, you're going to be able to notice that there's a brand new feature right there. Replayable duels and Mongol territories have been fully unlocked, and literally I've tested this. Every single camp, every single duel, and probably a little bit more on top too, like some of the other villages too, they are fully replayable as well. Another cool thing about this feature is the fact that the replay button can be pressed even if you're on the other side of the map. So for example, just go in the map menu, and let's say there's a mission on the other side of the map that you want to do, but you don't want to fast travel, even though that is quite fast. Well, you can just go ahead, press the replay button, and the game will automatically transfer you into that mission until you actually complete it. The same goes with the duels, by the way. You can start them from the other side of the map, and the cool thing about this is that once you're finished with either the duel or these mission objectives, the game automatically teleports you back where you were previous to replaying that mission or duel, which is pretty convenient. You don't have to travel on the other side of the map, and you don't have to waste any more time doing that. Now, moving on to the second feature, yeah, Ghost of Tsushima has a first ever lock-on, target lock-on mechanic added in the game. You can access it, by the way, in the gameplay options settings. So right here, almost at the bottom, you're going to see a target lock feature, and you can swap between on and swap on defeat or off. Now, the difference is pretty simple. If you just press it to on, you're going to auto lock on a target, and once that target is dead, you will actively have to press the target lock button again, which is arrow up on the D-pad, to target lock on the next target. Otherwise, if you go with the final setting, the swap on defeat, it does exactly what it means. Once you defeat an enemy that you target locked on, the game will automatically switch the target lock to a nearby enemy. Now, I'm not so sure if I like this too much. Honestly, I kinda got used to playing Ghost of Tsushima without a target lock, and I think that given the way combat works in this game, it's best you don't do that, but there are some major advantages to target lock in a few remote scenarios. Like for example, if there's any of these really annoying archers really high up and you can't pan the camera, yeah, the target lock feature will automatically just pan to them, which is way faster than you dragging that cursor, or well, in this case, the camera. Also, I will say that it could be quite useful if you want to switch focus way faster on a different target in a group of enemies. Like for example, if you want to disengage a little bit faster, just switch that target to a different one and run to it, and you're gonna be able to just take it down a little bit easier. But it also shifts the camera a little bit, and this means you might not be able to see some incoming attacks because it puts you and your target that you locked on in like the full focus of the frame, which means some of the other enemies you're not going to be able to see them as easily as before, but you can still switch your camera and look around, by the way. But moving on to number 3, there's been some changes done to New Game Plus, and the first one that you will notice is if you head over to Baku the voice list, and 2 of the armor sets right here have kind of been switched around in the sense that in a New Game Plus they will start fresh. They will not be separate armor sets, but instead kind of skins that are applied to already existing armors. So for example, the archery mastery attire, which was previously, you know, kind of like Tadayori's armor, but it was in a different slot, now acts as a different reskin of the Tadayori armor. And it makes sense because it's essentially doing the same thing and it has the exact same stats. So now if you go into the vendor, you're going to be able to notice that he sells it right there next to the Flowers of War. The same goes with Ryozo's Deadly Rivals attire that was also a separate armor set previously. Well, in the new update, in the New Game Plus, it is going to be basically a variant of the Kensei armor. And the advantage here is that I believe it doesn't cost 25 of those ghost flowers anymore. It only costs 15, which is a pretty good price reduction. So you're going to be able to afford both of them way easier. By the way, if you already purchased these will remain as separate armor sets. For example, I was able to buy Ryuzo's armors previously, but I did not buy that Archery Master one. So the Archery Master is now just a skin that I apply to Tadayori. Meanwhile, Ryuzo's armor is basically a completely separate one compared to the Kensei armor. So yeah, it could be a bug, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna stay like this. I think it's intended because I don't think they can retroactively change what has already been done on an account. But otherwise, these aren't the only changes to armor sets that have been done, and the Legends mode is also getting an update, or well, a couple of updates at the very least. And one of them is the fact that each and every single one of the 4 classes will get access and can unlock brand new armor sets that are actually from the single player campaign of the Iki Island. Now, to unlock these in the first place, you will actually have to buy that director's cut and also finish or at least progress in Jin's journey in the Iki Island, so you can unlock them in the single player, and once they have been unlocked in the single player, they will be unlocked in the multiplayer as well. I find it really awesome that they have done this, and you know, just adding these armor sets in the multiplayer would be a really great addition anyway, because it kind of shows you that you already played the base version of the game, that you already finished everything, and even more so for those rare suits that exist or rare dice, it shows everybody that you really enjoyed and really played Ghost of Tsushima. Now, the only other thing added to the Legends mode that I was able to notice is the Rivals mode, as a matter of fact. So this is the new game mode that has been announced like a couple of weeks ago, and it should come out really soon. And yeah, it's already there, but these are locked and it says coming soon. Essentially, it seems that it adds 4 new maps. One of them is called In the Realm of the Dead, Siege in Heaven, Trials of the Kami, and the final one is the Arena of the Shadows. So these are kind of more PvP, PvE oriented, though you still don't actually fight one-on-one against other players. You indirectly compete against each other, like there's 2 teams, one versus another, that have to complete this faster and kind of also set traps against each other on the way. So it's a really interesting one, and it might pave the way towards true PvP later on. And yeah, this is pretty much it with the bigger changes. Now there's other smaller ones in there that you might notice, like for example, if you play the PlayStation 5 version, you're going to notice new sounds being played through the controller. Like, I was definitely blown away by the fact that now when swords clash, it kind of makes the sound through the controller, and I was kind of scared because I thought something dropped on the ground. So yeah, it definitely wasn't that, by the way. Another thing that they have added is for some of these new controls, the control schemes have 2 additions over there, and one of them is for left-handed control in case you want to play or if you're left-handed. Otherwise, I think that the melee alternate was already in the game, but they also added a left-handed version of that as well in case you need it. And that's kind of it with the biggest changes. Now, soon after this, the Iki Island should drop. I cannot wait to cover more of this on the channel, so definitely make sure you stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys in the next video.